He let me stay at his house. He had a warehouse in a seedy part of town where the homeless would piss and shit on the street. But that's another story.
That's my friend Carl Solomon. He and I have known each other since probably 2007. My name is Tim Pilleri, and I'm interested in people. Some folks might know me for my work in true crime, having hosted the Missing Maura Murray and Crawlspace podcast for years, but this is a much different kind of show. This is about my friends and their wild lives. Season 1 of Life of will feature my friend Carl Solomon and his life of acting, music, and drugs.
Oh, yes. The Diff'rent Strokes episode. The Undercover Lover episode. Because these are the roles I had between 80 to 85.
Okay, great. Undercover Lover.
Yes, Undercover Lover. What happens is Willis and Arnold, they go to the same school. And this lady who is posing as a student is really a narc, as making believe she's in love with Willis, played by Todd Bridges. So she could find out who was dealing the cocaine.
Okay.
At the school. And 3 cops come. And I say, "You're under arrest."
So you were one of the cops?
Yes, I'm one of the cops.
I was actually able to locate this episode of Diff'rent Strokes, the old sitcom, and sure enough, Carl is there dressed as a policeman. Unfortunately, Carl's line is not heard in the episode, but there is this gem.
Anybody touches Willis Jackson, I'm gonna break dance on the bridge of their nose. Understand, turkey? Take him out of here.
That's different from a lot of the other roles you seem to get cast
Yes,
as.
they did. They call that an under 5.
An under 5? What do you mean?
Oh, under 5 lines.
But I feel like that, like a cop character is more of like a clean-cut guy that they're going to cast.
Yeah. Yes, I was clean shaven.
You were at that point.
I did a couple of commercials for Chupa Chups, the Wisconsin Beef Council. To be honest with you, there wasn't that much. And this is what happened to me. 2 things were against my favor, and the whole time I was living in L.A. Well, I wasn't getting, much work to my desire.
Yeah.
I didn't like, the living arrangements. I didn't like. If I found a living arrangement, it was impossible. You needed, money for 2 things.
Yeah.
Rent and car. And L.A. could afford one or the other. And it was unfair. It really was.
Yeah.
And I was just, plain unhappy. Now I'm really happy.
Yeah,
in L.A.
Yeah.
The problems I had then don't exist now.
Good.
So I was continuously, harassed by the cops.
Oh, yeah.
For, just walking down, the street with a backpack and stuff like that. So what happened was there was a place I was visiting in Berkeley every weekend, on weekends, whenever you know who was performing there, the Grateful Dead. And I became friends with all these people that were living under one roof. There was 18 people living under one roof in Berkeley, and they called themselves the Arch Street Zoo.
The Odd Street Zoo?
Arch, A-R-C-H.
Okay.
It was the best place I lived at in my whole entire life. I wish I would have lasted forever. But you know how we got evicted in 88.
Why'd you get evicted?
The sister of the owner, had bought it, and she was and wanted to gentrify it and make it into less rooms so she could jack up the price and everything.
Yeah.
Which has been the problem that going on in L.A. and San Francisco. And it's a big California problem. It really is. I really had a good time because I was able to, I transferred my union membership. I forgot to tell you, in 1981, I joined AFTRA, and then in 1984, I joined the Screen Actors Guild.
Great.
And that was in L.A., but I transferred that membership to the Bay Area. So now we'll get to the Bay Area.
Which years was this?
1985 to 1988.
Okay.
They were really great years. And I got to tell you something. Living in a house, which is halfway between the Berkeley High School and the Greek Theater, means wall-to-wall deadheads.
That's cool,
We had
yeah.
100 people
Okay.
staying at our house in several occasions.
Okay, so that's the center of the counterculture movement.
Out of that main explosion of the utopian counterculture, it seemed coincidental, but the best artist in the history of music took place at that very same time.
Yeah.
The Dead, Pink Floyd, and even, the Rolling Stones. Any artist that is, that started in the 60s and is still performing, they are the best.
So in your formative years, when you were about 14, struggling with school, running away, you saw this counterculture movement happening in this area in California, Berkeley,
yes.
San Francisco.
I took a tour camp, a YMCA camp I went on.
So you thought it was utopia, basically.
Yes, I saw them. They were all selling stuff like the Berkeley Barb or the underground, comic at that time. And
Okay. But
we
you saw it from a distance that was what
I
you
saw
wanted,
it from a distance.
where you wanted to be.
Wow, these people. And then, television had a habit of one side embraced it and then the other side made it negative. And if there was any incident that made the majority of the people on this planet, if there was one person that repelled people from that lifestyle, Charlie Manson.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, I see where you're
Yes.
going with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so but you actually found yourself in this same geographical area.
Yes.
20 years later. So it took you a while. You went around the world quite literally and found yourself back at this area where in your formative years you
because of that,
wanted to be.
In fact, New Year's Eve 76 into 77 was my first New Year's Eve show. So I felt instead of traveling around, if I had to stay at one, and that was because this was before I went to Israel, and I had failed miserably at a DJ, and I'm only saying failed in the sense that I could not get financing.
Yeah.
To do the work that I wanted to do. It was like a very, very
Tough industry to crack.
It was, and I found acting
Mhm.
an easy industry to crack, but now it's even easier.
Really?
Thanks to Hulu and Netflix and Amazon Prime.
These streaming services.
These streaming services.
More shows than ever.
There's more original content shows where they need actors and actresses.
Well, that's great.
So it's easier now, and that's why I'm getting another reason why I'm getting all these principal, jobs instead of, background. But I don't want to go into what happened between 94 and 95.
Why not?
It was really bad.
Oh, really?
Really, 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 really bad.
Okay.
Okay, I'll skip.
Okay. Unless you wanna mention it, a hint.
Oh.
You don't have to.
All right, it was a pig problem.
Okay.
But that's about it.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So that's one of the major themes here in your life, though, it seems.
Yes. It started from being told I, had no right being at Planting Fields Arboretum in northern Nassau County. It was like only a certain amount of people were allowed to be there. They're very discriminatory. And the pigs were involved. And there has been no problem since then.
Okay, that's good to hear.
Yes. So one of my favorite casting directors, Bill Dance, calls me while I'm in Reno, Nevada. I wound up, it's a long story, but I wound up in Reno, Nevada.
Okay.
I had to live in Reno. It was great because there was a couple that I'm still friends with who I went with attended more Dead shows than anybody else, the Curzan family. So
Very
it was
cool.
because of them I chose Reno.
Nice. Okay.
And I went to paralegal courses then.
Okay.
So
You went to paralegal courses, like
yes, I went to school again, Truckee Meadows Community College.
to potentially transition careers.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was like, in a way, I was forced to give up acting. It had to be like, as they say, a real job. Yeah, and I even wound up working at Little Caesars too. I get this phone call out of the middle of nowhere from Bill Dance, and who coincidentally just cast me in 2 projects this year.
Very
again.
cool. Shout out Bill Dance.
He asked me, how would you like to be on Ed TV, directed by the one and only Ron Howard.
Ron Howard, that's right. Okay.
Yes.
Ed TV with Matthew McConaughey.
Yes,
right?
yes,
Okay.
that's the one.
Yeah, I remember that one.
And he said, if Ron Howard likes you, you'll get multiple days.
Cool.
And so I drove over the Donner Pass, on I-80 to San Fran.
Okay.
I worked on that day, and my friend Rand Crook, hi Rand, he let me stay at his house. He had oh my God, a warehouse just like this.
Oh, cool.
But it was off an alley
Yeah.
in a seedy part of town where the homeless would piss and shit on the street.
Okay.
But that's another story. So I had a place to stay, and I got 10 days on Ed TV
Nice.
as, a background artist. You could see me with the red woolen hat.
Okay.
And then on the final day, Ron Howard said, okay, you say this, you say that, and he gave 5 of us, dialogue.
Yeah.
And it was, and he told me to say, good night, Ed. But I added, see you tomorrow. And I got upgraded.
Oh, very cool.
Yes.
Okay, so they kept it in the movie too?
It didn't make it.
Oh,
It
okay.
didn't make it,
But you still
unfortunately.
got upgraded on the set.
Yeah, I still
and-
get residuals
and a better check.
from yes,
Yeah.
still get like
That's very cool.
50 cents.
Right. Every once
every
in a while
6
you get
months,
like
yeah.
a check for 50
Yeah,
cents.
yes.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of one of those weird things about the entertainment industry that if you're not in it, that's kind of a really weird
Yeah,
thing
that
to
was
people.
one way. Yeah, one way to get principal work
Yeah.
is it doesn't happen that much.
Yeah.
You do background work, and if they love you, they'll upgrade you.
Did you speak to Ron Howard on set? How did
That's the
he...
weirdest thing. I did it because after our scene, we wrapped. And the thing is, the reason why we wrapped, I guess we did a lot of scenes that day.
Yeah.
Ron realized we would go into golden time, which means after 16 hours, it's golden time.
Yep.
I don't think Universal wasn't hip to that. So that was it. But I wasn't. They didn't. I didn't get recalled.
But you said that
I think that was it. That was just those 10 days.
But you said that the casting director said you'll get multiple days if Ron likes you. So somewhere along the line, Ron made the decision to give you multiple days.
Yes, I never formally got to thank him.
But you met like the AD who
Yes.
probably spoke to Ron, and Ron's probably like, I love that guy. I need that guy. How can you not want you on set, Carl?
Yes. I never, I come to think of it, but I never, got to work with Ron again.
Yeah.
But the thing is, here's what the big difference between Jim Hosking and Ron. Jim Hosking uses the same people. He loves us all.
Well, that's a great trait.
And Ron is, he uses different people.
Yeah.
I think he used Tom Hanks, several times. Yes. But I'm no Tom Hanks.
What about the Coen brothers? Did you work with them on some sets with them?
Yes.
How did that
go? 2, in fact.
2.
I worked on Hail Caesar.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I'm one of the people that imprisoned George Clooney because he got kidnapped.
Okay.
I'm in the rowboat scene.
Okay.
The house where we kidnap George Clooney.
Okay. And now we discuss some other acting roles and where Carl was living during this period of time.
I moved back to San Francisco in 2000.
Okay.
And I did a combination of, for a few years, I was doing courtroom background searches. where I would
so
go
you
to the
actually-
courthouse and look up, see if somebody was a convicted felon or
So you put that into use, that training that you
the
got.
training I got as a paralegal. I put that into use.
Great.
And I got, jobs that I was, found my niche.
Okay.
And I would do, and I would work on the sets, in the Bay Area.
So it's sort of on the side.
Yeah, on the side. And I don't
Okay.
think I got any principal work at that time.
Yeah.
I moved to L.A. again in 2004.
Oh, okay.
So that's what I was doing. I was living in a combination of Pacifica, California, which is on the coast, and then I moved inland to Calaveras County
Okay.
with my friend Steve Rancart. Really nice guy. Steve Rancart, homie, you're great. And then I would get booked on a union background gig in L.A., so I would have to stay up all night,
Yep.
and it was really dangerous getting to the set from the town of Murphy's in California. So I'd have you ever did this while driving? Go like that to keep yourself awake
I don't
with
know
your
about tap.
foot?
I mean, I've slapped myself.
Oh,
I roll down the windows, start singing real loud, stuff like that. I do.
yeah, it was really dangerous.
Yeah.
So I would get to the set by 6 or 7 in the morning.
Uh huh.
What did I do? I wound up finding myself living in Pahrump, Nevada, also, and working on the sets in Nevada as well. But as the 2000s came along, I was getting more principal work, and 2004 was when I got out of Calaveras County,
Mm-hmm.
and I lived in L.A. for good, and except for 3 years in New Mexico, I decided it's L.A.
Okay. So you bounced around quite a bit.
Yes,
In those
yes,
years.
and besides, and all right, the two greatest and I call it the pre-Hosking principal jobs was you.
Yes.
You and Model Ball, all those episodes of Model Ball.
That's right. Yeah.
And Pan Man.
Yeah.
And we will get to Pan Man eventually. Next episode, we will discuss the time that Carl and I first met.
So do you remember what you wore?
Did I wear Grateful Dead or tie-dye stuff?
No, you wore a bathrobe.
Oh,
You don't remember that?
no.